shall give these laws unto thy people. Hear me, oh, hear me, all pay heed. The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 10 commandments for all to obey.
10 commandments, that's right. That's what I want to call them this time. Not rules or laws that were set down, but slogans or things we heard on a regular basis that almost every Gen Xer heard as a kid that got ingrained in you, that set forth a certain moral compass or a view of doing things. It could be something as silly as be kind, rewind at the video store, because we all know they love to ding you that extra 50 cents if you sent the tape back and it wasn't rewound. Or when they started initiating all the seatbelt laws and it was buckle up. So these types of things, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to commandments. And I've looked all over and tried to find what everybody thought and what different ones would be. And this here so far seems to be what I've come up with. So let's start. And in no particular order, I'm calling them 1 to 10, but in no particular order. Commandment number 1. Thou shalt return home before the streetlights come on. That was a general rule. That was curfew. That's set forth, and we all know that. And it has been done to death. But I think if there was going to be any rule for a Gen X kid written in stone, that would be one of them. Commandment number 2, as I'll call it. Thou shalt shut up and just hold the flashlight. Now, those of us that ever worked on cars with our dad when we were kids, and you're holding the flashlight, or you're under there holding them old trouble lights and the hook's getting in the way as you're trying to shine it where he wants you to, and you were getting yelled at until he slipped, wrapped his knuckles, tore the skin off the end, started hollering and screaming, and then it was over and you got sent to bed. And then your mom would go out and give him shit for being so hard on you. And I think that ingrained in everybody that too would be written down, because that applies to not just anything, or just not, sorry, that applies not to just that, but to virtually anything. In other words, you just shut up and do as you're told. That's what that means straight across the board. Right? And another one, and this is important, number 3. This should be done for everybody, and kids today really should learn this one. Okay, I've mentioned it before. Sticks and stones shall break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Too many soft people, too many people that didn't grow any skin. You know, Gen Xers, our skin's so thick it's almost scale. You would think we were part dragon or something, the way it's hard to pierce us to the soul and bring forth them feelings that we all bury so deep under alcohol. Next, let's get on to this one. Number 4. This here is not just a commandment. We live by it. Definitely me and my friends live by it. But it's taken from a song. And all must fight for your right to party. You betcha. Thank you, Beastie Boys. You made a few summers of my life pretty epic. If you understand, you know, that's the way that goes. Phone's going off. Text messages coming through. Some bitch. Anyway, let's get to this. We are down to number 5. And now this is important because this is a lot of kids. And this has to do with the fact that we were a Latch Key generation. And this is it here. And it is: the holy key to the front door must always be worn around the neck. We all wore it around the neck. Many of us had the key and it was around the neck. And it wasn't like these breakaway landlords that they have now and everything. It was usually a shoelace or, you know, and a thick one at that. And it would be looped through and it would be tied in a knot or a bow behind you. And you'd keep that thing around your neck, tucked in behind your shirt. All kids did, because if it wasn't there, it was lost and it was gone. And your parents would be mad. They'd have to go down to the hardware store or to the locksmith and get another key made. And that was a hassle. And that could result in a grounding if your parents were willing to let you stay at home. See, that was more punishment for parents in our day than it was for them, grounding us. Usually they just wanted us gone. That brings us to number 6, and I think this is an important one, and this is one that Gen X needs to teach younger generations when they go out and do these silly things and they want to get in somebody's face to make a point. but they don't understand there's consequences once you step within that space between you and the edge of their personal space, because they don't like to scream personal space, but they'll definitely come in yours to scream at you and get mad when you do something about it. But this brings us to number 6. If thou fucketh around, thou shalt findeth out. Damn straight. Fuck around and find out. We were the fuck around and find out generation. We fucked around all the time, and oh Lord, did we find out. We found out by having accidents due to our stupid choices, or we found out because someone came along and beat our ass. Now, moving on, not to really play on anything for too long, moving on, because I just think this is fun. Something to put out there. I want to know what everybody else thinks. What is something that you should think should be a commandment and would go on and it would sit there? And if you could etch something in stone permanently from Gen X, being a slogan, a saying, or a piece of advice for everybody to learn from forever, what would it be? Let me know down in the comments. Garrett, come on, dude. Let's get involved, people. Lots of you comment, lots of you take, get in there and we have discussion in the comments, and I am liking that. That is what I want to see, is discussion taking place. Even if you're going to argue, still want to see it. I don't censor any comments. I let you guys, we're all grown ass adults here. You say what you will and you duke it out, right? So this is the other one, and this follows number 6. Kind of leads in the same thing. You fuck around and find out. But then you got number 7. I heard this a lot as a kid. If it isn't broken, bleeding, missing, or on fire, suck it up. And that was it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going. Walk it off. Same thing. Cowboy up. Same thing. That was essentially it. If you had an injury and you are broken, bleeding, missing, or something on fire, then it wasn't a serious issue. Move on. Now we get to number 8, and I think this is just fun. And this is taken from one of my favorite movies. Anyway, this is it, and it is from Big Trouble in Little China.
Like I told my last wife, I says, honey, I never drive faster than I can see. Besides that, it's all in the reflexes.
Come on, people. Never drive faster than you can see. Aside from that, it's all in the reflexes. There you go. I just think that's fun. I think that's just an amazing thing to say to somebody when they say that you can't do that. It can't be done. And you just say, I never drive faster than I can see. And aside from that, it's all in the reflexes. Now, here's another one that a lot of Gen Xers were taught. Since we were never allowed home, we were always kicked out. We always had to go off and do something. You didn't bring trouble home, because that would be serious trouble. So that leads us to number 9. And number 9 is, don't be stupid and get caught. Because we got into a lot of mischief. Gen X did a lot of dumb shit, got into a lot of mischief, and a lot of them wound up with some sort of police incident. I'm not saying people had wound up with criminal records or juvie and stuff like that. It was probably the same, probably less percentage than it is today. And some of the dumb shit we did, let's get to this. Let's talk about, we'll just mention this here. When we were young, we had toilet papering houses, raiding gardens. There was egging people. All this stuff went on, and you didn't get assault charges for this back then. You didn't get theft charges for this back then. You usually got forced to go work it off and clean it up. And then number 10, granddaddy of them all. Believe this. I'm sure everybody believes this. Everybody in the future should believe this. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the past believed this. Just ask this guy.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!
Now that's it, everybody. That's what I think. If we had a solid 10 commandments written down in stone, this would roughly be them. I'm sure we could agree if you get people discussing, we'd swap some out, sure, but they were just fun. There's a couple in there I tossed in there just because I think they were fun. Like, be kind, rewind, it's not on the official list, but be kind, rewind. That was huge. That was burned into everybody as soon as you had the idea of home video. It's because stores charged you for bringing back a tape that wasn't rewound. And most people didn't rewind them because they did not want to waste time in their machine rewinding a tape, which rewound slow in the older machines. And most of the stores had automatic tape rewinders that went 10 times the speed. So there we go. That's that. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you think what would be on your list of commandments, and see if we can get consensus on what everybody would believe would be the absolute number one of them all, that everybody would agree definitely, absolutely, most likely would be and should be on that list. So this is Drac. Until next time, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now, and peace out, everybody.